Hello and welcome to this next LM simulation video here on YouTube. So today we've got quite a big update video for you really. We're going to be focusing on the new core update for Train Sim Classic that's been out now for a couple of months by the time you watch this video. Basically what's caused this is that Dovetail Games have actually behind the scenes been working very hard with their long-term development team on Train Sim Classic to be able to bring to us a much refined version, a much upgraded version of Train Sim Classic, and they're actually looking at resolving the core issues that have been causing a lot of the famous out-of-memory errors, OOM errors that you experience when playing the game. So a lot of people, quite randomly sometimes, whether they load up the menu screen or whether they're in a scenario, even in the editor, it's happened to me in the editor for sure, you get an out-of-memory error. It doesn't tell you really why, it just says, out-of-memory error, we're sorry your system doesn't have enough memory to facilitate the game. That is not true. It's just finding a common value, really, an excuse for the game to shut down because it's reached its limit, unfortunately. That's not the limit that your PC is set at, it's literally the limit the game engine is set at. Now they're actually looking at resolving that issue long term, and the core update that they've implemented so far is actually aiming to resolve that, but there is a much bigger picture to it than that. So this video is just going to explain and look into exactly what Dovetail Games are going to be doing with Train Sim Classic. So you're now presented with this screen. This is the brand new menu screen on Train Sim Classic. So you've got your MTA, Long Island Railroad, I think is it an M7 or something like that? I have no idea. It's an American metro unit based in New York, so that's available. You've got a DB, no idea what that is, S-Bahn type thing going on there on the right hand side. On the left hand side you've got your BR Class 47 there, from the latest release, the Huddersfield lines. From Dovetail Games. So this is all focusing around Train Sim Classic. There won't be any Train Sim World content in this video whatsoever. So we'll be looking at that in a different video, looking at where we're going with Train Sim World. There's a huge amount of stuff going on with that, so that's entirely separate. So we've got a blue splash screen. Obviously you can change your menu screen if you wanted to, but it's entirely up to you. I've always kept it the same. But I am no exception. I have definitely had numerous errors with out-of-memory errors and whatnot, and actually more recently they've actually discovered a new issue that they're actually having to work around since they've implemented the update. So that issue, I'll just go into that very quickly, is I'll show you now. So when you're actually in the game itself here and you're choosing your menus and whatnot, if you go to drive, it depends how much content you've got installed as to how long it will take to load. Mine takes a few seconds usually, about 10 seconds usually. So we'll see what happens when we click drive. That will load up your drive menu screen. I was actually encountering an issue that I've never seen before actually. It was very, very bizarre. It wasn't causing an out-of-memory error actually, very weirdly, but what it was causing was it was just causing the game to crash and not respond, and the only way you could deal with it was to close the game. Now that's under your standard. So if you go into standard, your standard scenarios, that sort of thing, and it will load up all the standard scenarios you've got installed in the game. I've got hundreds, so that's why. I've actually recently refined my routes, so now I only have 13 pages. I actually had 21 pages of routes previously. I only have 13 now. Most of those were international that I don't use anymore. If I wanted to play internationally, I would do that in Train Sim World free. That's probably best for that now. But as you were flicking through the pages, so go page 2, page 1, whatever you wanted to do, essentially it would crash when you got onto a page, and this is still an error in the game. It's still something that they're looking into as far as I'm aware. It's something to do with apparently the thumbnails for the routes cards. They've been recently changed so that they are a fixed value, and that fixed value is certain kilobytes and certain width and height of images and all that jazz. And if you've got a third-party route installed, for example, one from UK Train Sim or one from Just Trains, something basically that doesn't confine to that standard. The game doesn't have a way of dealing with that at the moment, so it just crashes, and you have to exit the game. So there is a way around that at the moment. It is quite detailed, and it does require a lot of investigating, really. You've got to find the root folder. So when you're on your desktop, you've got to go to Railworks, Content, and then into your root folder. And once you find the root folder for the root that's causing the issue, or you don't know which one could be causing the issue, so I've had to do this. I spent 2 days trying to fix the issue, and I finally fixed it. So thank God for that. What I do is you can either wait for the image to be resized and fixed. You can resize or fix the issue yourself. I haven't tried that because I didn't want the song and dance and rigmarole of trial and failure and trial and failure. I don't play this game, as a developer. I play this game as a player. I shouldn't have to trial and error everything. That's their job, not mine. So what I've done actually myself, for a good example is Barnstable to Exeter had the issue. I've actually removed the root image, so therefore it's now not showing a root image at all, which is fine. I don't need root images. They're there for looking at, and that's really the main thing. But yeah, so an easy way is just to delete the root image, and once you reload the game, that page should now work fine, as it is working fine for me now, you see. So that's that issue. That's only come up since the update, so that's just how to get that fixed, basically. So they're doing a lot more, as I said before, than just upgrading the core engine and stuff like that. They actually want to accelerate the game onto a whole new DirectX version. So that basically means that it'll have a lot more native support with controllers, this, that and another. It'll have a lot more support in terms of further development if they wanted to change the core game engine. And giving it a new DirectX version brings it bang up to date with the current releases like Trains of World 3, which I believe should probably be running on DirectX 12, most likely, or 11. Certainly not DirectX 9, which I believe is what this is running on. Back in the day it was DirectX 9. They are upgrading, and they have given us an experimental build of DirectX 12. Now I've had a go in DirectX 12, and I must admit I've had no issues whatsoever, no texturing issues, nothing at all, nothing that I can report. A lot of people have had issues, so please contact Dovetail Games via their support network, Kayako, if you are having issues, because they would need to know about it in order to fix those issues. But for me, I haven't had any issues at all. And what I will say, actually, is if they are aiming to try and fix the out-of-memory error, I will say, touch wood, right now, I haven't had a single out-of-memory error since the update happened. Not one. It's been fluid, absolutely fluid, and that's either in the DirectX 12 version or the original DirectX 9 upgraded 64-bit version. I have out-of-memory errors in 32-bit, obviously, because that's a 32-bit system, but I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, DDR4 RAM installed on my computer, and the game should take that into consideration, and it sounds like it's actually doing that now, which is really, really good to see. So to give you an example of quite a detailed scenario and how the game is now coping with that without out-of-memory errors and stuff like that, I was going to take you on a quick drive on quite a quite a challenging route for the game to cope with, and just basically have a little explore of how it's working with that. So I created a scenario a while back for West Coast, Mainline, Midlands and Northwest, and it focuses on the Class 60 from Just Trains. Now, hopefully this does work. I'm not too sure if it will work. I have not tried this, actually, to be honest, but it's always worth double checking. Let's just have a look. I need to go down and find it. Here we go, tug traction. So you're in charge of 6 Foxtrot 06, the 1430 Lost Stop Works to Arpley, from Hertford Junction 3 to Arpley, with something a bit more unusual for traction. Well, I'd say unusual, usual. Class 60s dropping on the Lost Stop Works, and not unusual, actually, as it turns out now. But back when I did this scenario, it was quite unusual. We just had 66s on them all the time, and actually now the 60s are starting to become more and more rare again. Looks like DB Cargo are looking at decommissioning them again, so we'll see what happens anyway. So we're just going to have a quick go at this scenario, and I'm going to talk about the game, the routes, what upgrades are happening. Just basically have a good old drive. So I'll get started in this scenario, and I'll see you in there in a couple of minutes. So here we are back in the scenario now. So this is your 6 Foxtrot 06 scenario, basically based on the West Coast Main Line, Midlands and the Northwest. This is part of the route you're probably not meant to see, to be honest. But as you can see, frame rate wise, absolutely terrific. I can't complain. I'm getting about 70, maybe 80 FPS now. The game is certainly utilising the system much better than it was previously, and I think what they're doing, what they're working towards, is actually boding very well. So let's get started with the scenario then, rather than sitting about. So we've got the Just Trains Class 60 for traction today, as you can see. So good afternoon, driver. You're in charge of 6 Foxtrot 06 today, running unusually very early with a rake of loaded wagons from Lost Stop Works. Traction for the service is usually a Class 60, of which you have a 60091. Please set up the train and proceed forward. As a result of your early running, you'll be held on the downslope at Hertford Junction for a little bit. That's fine by me. Works for me. Very simple. So this is a scenario I made about 2 or 3 years ago, actually, and I did it on a live stream. I actually featured it on a live stream when I made it, which is good, but I haven't really done anything with it since. I have a feeling it's actually available still on Alan Thompson's sim, if you want to have a go. I'll see if I can link it in the description if it is still available, but yeah, I'll certainly let you know. Let's turn the sound up a little bit. There we go. Gosh, that's got quite loud, isn't it? Yeah, that's that tug working hard with these wagons from Lost Stop Works. Right, so as we make our way down towards the West Coast Main Line, just to give you an idea of where we are in the route at the moment. So we're here. This is at Hertford Junction. So effectively, you've got a you've got Hertford Station here. You've got Hertford Junction here. Acton Bridge here, famous Acton Bridge station for train spotting, and then you've got the line diverges off to Liverpool here, or you've got the line coming in this way to Warrington. So we're actually doing a very quick journey between here and here at Arpley Yard, so it's not going to be very long, this scenario. It's actually sort of padded out, but no, absolutely everything seems to be okay. So yeah, one of the key issues that I've noticed a lot of people have been mentioning, specifically about the new update, is obviously compatibility. So how it's affecting third-party releases and stuff like that, because they are messing around with the core engine of the game here, and the third-party developers, the second-party developers, even Dovetail Games themselves have been working very hard to try and accommodate the game as it stands and make everything work as it should at the moment. The only problem with that is that if you're going to be changing the core aspects of the game engine, you do need to be able to worry about that sort of thing. You need to worry about compatibility. Are things going to work? What's the core impact going to be? And unfortunately, because there are so many different releases and so many different developers out there now, from Just Trains to Armstrong Powerhouse to Chris Trains, all of that jazz, even looking at Alan Thompson Sim as now a second party or third party developer themselves, there is a lot to consider for sure. So yeah, is it going to work first time? Maybe, maybe not. I myself have not had too many compatibility issues. Maybe some of the Armstrong Powerhouse sound packs did get a bit muddled. I mean, I've had to reinstall the Class 66 sound pack, but for example, the Class 60 sound pack, as I'm using it right now, I've had no issues with that whatsoever. I had to reinstall the Class 390 sound pack, and I'm going to have to reinstall some reskins for the 390 because that seems to have broken as well. But apart from reinstalling reskins, doing some very, very easy work, I can't report that there are any major faults with this. And if we're investing in a long-term future for Train Sim Classic, you know, a game that's been out for a hell of a long time, it doesn't deserve to be dead and buried and forgotten. And I am so grateful, more than you can imagine, to Dovetail Games for investing the future in this game, because there are so many possibilities. There's so many more routes coming out for it all the time. It's being constantly developed. You know, we've got the likes of Train Sim World, and they are trying to, you know, push people over to that as much as they can, sensibly, of course. But there we go. But yeah, it's just so worth it to be able to invest in this sort of thing. Now, one thing you might notice is I am using the Ultron Powerhouse Sky and Weather Enhancement Pack version 1, because there is a second version now that's come out. I haven't had the time to be able to acquire that yet. I've been very, very busy outside of doing this sort of streaming and that, and getting all the videos up on YouTube, so I can only apologise, but I haven't had the time to be able to invest in getting any of the new Ultron Powerhouse, either because there's a new Signal pack, so a new Signal pack, a new Sky and Weather Enhancement pack. I haven't had a chance to get any of them. Neither have I had a chance to get any of the latest releases for Train Sim World 3, unfortunately. So that includes the likes of the newly released Midland Main Line that goes between Leicester, Derby and Nottingham, is now in Train Sim World 3. I think it's thanks to Skyhook Games that are working on that one, so I can't wait to share that with you once I get the opportunity to do so, and I hope that will be soon, but as for now, unfortunately not. There is a bridge missing here. I'm not too sure if that bridge was there in the first place, but I might give the game a reinstall. Well, give not the game a reinstall, but just give the route a reinstall just to see if it will fix that sort of issue. But no, if that's all I can report, a few bridges missing. It's not really very major. Some catenary missing here and there, but that's part of the thing, you see. So I'm going to start to slow down because we are going to be stopping up ahead. And we have got a heavy load. So here we are. So we're on the approach now into Acton Bridge with our Class 60 in tow. Going to get a screenshot taken just for you guys. There we go. 60091. At the helm of this service today. We have got a red up here, you can see, and we got Pendolino heading towards us. So if you do see any sort of graphical issues with the Pendolino, I am still in the process of trying to resolve that. It's just very minor sort of things, but they should be resolved very easily with just a reinstall of this, that or another. There you go, it's an all white Pendolino. And there we go, just approaching the signal here at Acton Bridge. Do the horn. We've got a couple of things that we're just going to wait to overtake us. 0 Foxtrot 63 1427 Crew Vassard Hall to Garston is on its way up. That's a VSTP working. It should have gone up early in the morning, but due to a loco failure, it was delayed at Vassard Hall, so it's working late in the afternoon instead. So we're here till 15:21 apparently. It's quite a while. Let's get this consiv stop. So as you kind of see, there are a pair of Class 86 cans that are just about to overtake us. Lovely. Going about 75 miles an hour. Wow, very nice. Yeah, missed those. Really missed those. Used to see them quite regularly up here in Northwest running. Right, you are due off here at 15:22. However, can leave whenever you get the road. Once you are on the move again, you are non-stop to Arpley, which isn't far. You are due to stop in the shunting next to allow the yard shunter to board. Yeah, we've got quite a few assets in Arpley on this. I know this is quite a intensive route for the game. Basically, not just because you've got this, but because you've got a hell of a lot more. So you used to just get Lime Street and the route down, but now you've got the route up to Warrington Bank Quay. Not only that, you've got the route up to Wigan. You've got Wigan Lip down here in the Bickershaws. You've also even got this is Ashton and Makerfield. And you've also got, if you go all the way up here, you've got Yuxton, Exton. It's Exton Balshaw Lane. I used to call it Yuxton Balshaw Lane, but it's not Yuxton. It's not. It's. I thought it was Yuxton because it had a U in it, but it's not. It's Exton Balshaw Lane. I think it's I'll never get that one right. Okay, well that place. This is Leyland. You've got the Enterprise Sidings here at British Leyland. These are back in service now. Actually, they get. There's actually I think a stone terminal here that gets services from Rollstone in Leeds. So that's quite interesting. That gets regular services now, well, semi-regular services into there. It is a really annoying place to access, though. I'll tell you what, because they come off the line here from Leeds, right, and they have to go down past the siding, because for some weird reason they can't run around once they're in there. Don't ask me why, but basically, or they can't access the siding directly from the Blackburn line, so they're timed to go all the way past here, past Leyland, past this place I can't pronounce for my life, and down all the way to Wigan and down to Springs Branch Junction, which is, where is Springs Branch Junction? Here, yeah. And then one presumes the loco then has to run round, attach onto the other end, and then it goes north, past Wigan again, all the way up past that place I can't pronounce, all the way up past Leyland, and then it goes past the Enterprise siding to then shunt at signal Papa 949 into the Enterprise siding. So yeah, probably the most annoying working if you're a driver, of all time. But no, definitely not. So there is a lot going on in this route, and there's a lot to load, and basically this is a good test to see. Because as you can see, frame rate wise, fluid as anything, absolutely fantastic. There used to be a way to save rolling start. Never had that before. Whoa, what's that? What is that? I'm pressing buttons I've never pressed in this game before, so I could not remember how to get the frame rate up, because I never do it. I've never ever needed it before, because the frame rate is the frame rate in this game, not really, what is it, frame rate, Shift Z, I knew it was something, Shift Z, there you go. So it gets 60 FPS here, 80 FPS there, 80 FPS there, 60 FPS there. Look at the sky, you're getting 120, look at the floor, you're getting 108. But yeah, the lowest I'm getting is 59, 58. So yeah, really, really smooth gameplay now, which I just think is fantastic. Really, really good, investment in the game. Given how many hours I've invested in this now, you can leave a comment for how many hours you think I've got in the game, and I will tell you. 6,246.6. That's how many hours I've got in the game. So if I do an hours to month calculator, for example, and type in 6246, is 8.5 months. So I've played this game since it came out, right? Well, no, since it got put on Steam. So that doesn't actually count the time that I was playing it as Rail Simulator, Train Sim Train Sim 2012 and all of that, because it wasn't on Steam back then. It was only on Steam since Train Sim 2013, was it, or something like that? So any time before that, Railworks, anything like that, doesn't count any of that. So you can probably add another 1,000 hours onto that easily. So yeah, I've spent 8.5 months solid, non-stop, from start to finish in this game. 8.5 hours. 8.5 months. You know, you're getting towards the nearly been playing this game for a year non-stop. Yeah, that is insane. That is dedication. I'll tell you what, that in my life is in this game. So the fact that they're they're really investing into it is only good news. Only very, very good news. Right, 9 Sierra 70 is on the way now, so that's the only thing we're waiting on, and then, yeah, we've got a clear run, so we should get the road soon. It's going to take us a bit of power to be able to get this mammoth locomotive moving. I mean, the nickname, or not really nickname, but the tagline for the Class 60 is the power to move mountains. That's what British Rail gave them as a designation. Or the power to sit in Toten doing nothing is, I think, the more appropriate way of describing them these days. But they still do a job, and they do that job fairly well, to be honest. So, barring any major incident like failing or this, that and another, I mean, you know, in my neck of woods where I originally come from, Class 60s are frowned upon because they are unreliable, poor, not well maintained. The ones out of Margam, I'm talking about, the ones that are on the roast and working. So I've always known to have issues with them. So, but this is a really old reskin. This one that is being used on this Pendolino. So I think that was one off Alan Thompson's sim, but it was done in the meantime before the likes of Major Wales created a Pendolino pack and that lot. BH Reskins did another one, I think. So yeah, there's a lot of competition going on, definitely, in terms of producing stuff. But I think the fact that Dovetail Games are putting their effort into this, I mean, what else could they improve? If this really does work and we're not getting crashes again, then there's nothing really else you can really do. You know, you've perfected the game. Congratulations, well done. And here we go, the power to move mountains. We're about to move something like 1,000 tons. Lovely stuff from the Class 60, doing its job well. There we go, as we power away from the signal stop here at Hertford Junction. Yeah, you can really hear that solid Class 60 sound now, can't you? Properly, yeah, very nice indeed. And give us a watch as we pass Acton Bridge. But yeah, in terms of the latest update and how we are progressing with all aspects of this game as a whole, as you know, for future development and that sort of stuff, as long as they can fix issues such as the thumbnail issue, because that took me nearly 2 days to resolve on its own, and I was really shattered when I finished that. So I didn't think initially I was ever going to be able to resolve it, because I had so many routes on so many different pages that were coming up and causing that issue that it felt like I was never going to be able to resolve it. So right, we're well on the way now. So let's give us a watch as we pass Acton Bridge. Ah, that's something they've changed then. So if you press 4, you now get a much more closer view of the loco. It used to put you like a mile away. It used to put you like here and you had to wait. But now, if you press the number 4 button, it will give you an almost immediate flyby of the train. Very nice. think that's the JHA pack from Powerhouse. Quite an old pack, but it's done its time. It's done well. Going to try and get a bit more power out of this. I don't want to result in any wheel spin. I think that's unfortunately what this pack is famous for, not being, you know, absolutely accurate in terms of the Class 60, which can move a hell of a lot of weight. But I think in this game the dynamics and the way it's been modelled is not entirely accurate. But hey ho, does the job. So we've got to go down Walton, down Helsby, which is got to go down that line through to Warrington, Arpley Sidings, which is where we're terminating today. Now I remember when I did this scenario, I spent 10 minutes doing the whole setting up and getting the train there and everything, and then I spent near enough an hour just doing the AI at Arpley Depot to try and make it as realistic as possible. So let's hope for the best on this one. I can't even remember what I put in there, see, you know, I'm getting wheel slip now. So the easiest way to deal with that, I learned, is just to put the... Come on. Where's the auto sand isolation? Yeah, turn you on. Or don't turn you on. What the hell? Sometimes I think this game is just on a mind of its own. It really is. You're only doing 40. Come on. You're all bigger than this anyway. Yeah, he's having a bit of a hissy fit. It really is. Oh well. Well, if it's 40 is the max we can do, 40 is the max we can do. As I said, this just goes to show this is not entirely a very accurate pack, unfortunately. I mean, we're not going uphill at all. We're on a flat gradient, and it's still struggling to get above 40, which I think is very unrealistic. But I mean, if I put it up now to 33, I want to see if it lets me, or yeah, it's slowly getting there. Going to let me now get some more power up. I mean, if this is how a 60 acts in real life, I'm not surprised they declare it as a failure every time. Gee, really, really bad. God. And I've been speaking to some drivers about Class 70s. They're a mixed bag, really. You either love them or you hate them. Marmite, really. They either work when you're with them or they don't. It's one of the two. This is Weaver Junction, I believe. Yeah, this is Weaver Junction. Yep. So if you go left here, you turn off towards Warrington, that sort of direction. If you go straight ahead, you head. Sorry, if you turn left here, you head towards Runcorn, that sort of direction. If you go straight ahead, you head towards Warrington. So that way is for Liverpool, really. Straight ahead is for the West Coast Main Line through to Warrington and further north. Up to Wigan, that sort of place. Yeah, we're gradually getting there. So if well, maybe if I take the loco brake off, does that make any difference? Because it was on a hold initially, but anyway, yeah, so with the dynamic of the game and how everything's being changed and the constant improvement and investment that is being invested in, I can't say fairer than that. I think it's really positive. I mean, you're never going to get completely rid of like the frame stutters and stuff like that. You can improve them, but you will never get rid of them. I just think they've done magnificently with the time they've had. And I can't imagine what a future update would actually entail. Would that actually be, you know, now you've got, well, hopefully you've got rid of the out of memory error. I haven't had it. There was one route that I always had it on for some very unknown reason, and that was so the Great Eastern Main Line London to Ipswich, and then the Great Eastern Main Line London to Norwich, the one that was on the workshop by Traction Depot. I think that's actually been withdrawn now, so there's no actual way of doing the whole Great Eastern Main Line, because I removed all of my Steam Workshop content when the update happened, just to ensure when the game, you know, I cleared all the cache and I did all of that sort of jazz. I just wanted to make sure that the game worked, and it's always good to have a fresh install and all of that jazz. But I didn't realise when I was doing that I got rid of the Great Eastern Main Line. I don't even know if you can get it back yet, so I might have a look into that if you can. I'd love to do a 90 run all the way from London to Norwich, just to give it a test to see if it really does work, because I always used to have issues on that ever since ever since Railworks days. I've had issues on that route, with crashing and that sort of thing, just for very, very weird, unknown reasons, really. But hey ho, it is what it is. So is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. This is a crossing. I think it's close to me. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, so that's a crossing, I think that's close to me, Keckwick, that sort of area. So, because you've got the route there, yep, you've got the line going off to Chester that way, yep, that's definitely that crossing. So yeah, I actually filmed the push-pull 47 set from that crossing lately. Never been to that crossing before, so just wanted to try it out. It was really, really good, yeah. I mean, you don't want to go down there if it's muddy, but no, certainly was nice otherwise. And now you're getting into the outskirts of Warrington. So this sort of area starts to slow down. We won't need to worry about it too much. Because we've got the gradients going to help us anyway to slow down. But as we approach here, we've got Acton Grange, and that's the Chester line there going off, and there's a Chester train going off, probably a 175. I'm just slowing us down because I think, is it 25 or something across this part? I can't quite remember. To double check. I'll just take us down to 40 and we can take matters from there. Wait, do we need to go any slower than that? There we go. We're on a double yellow again, so obviously it was that 175 that was slowing us down, but it's now out of the way. And we can just go straight down to Helsby and then straight into Arpley. As you can see, very, very busy, Arpley. So let's see what it looks like when we get there. I think that's a 20 I can see. Slight problem where you've got all the speed limits close together, you can't quite see them, you see, but I think there does look like there's a 20 there, so we might have to slow down for that. I'll keep an eye on that. Bearing in mind you are quite heavy because you've got the freight train, so you're not going to be slowing down as quickly as you'd like. So the one good thing about the physics of this model is that at least it counts for the weight that's behind you, for sure. Start to slow down for that 20 now. There we go. Yep, we've been given the all clear to cross over. That's good. Not sure if we're going to slow down in time for this 20, but I think the gradient is going to help us actually, to be honest, so we should be okay. But as you can see, this is really quite vanilla, to be honest. I mean, I only had the update installed about a week or so ago. I've spent a lot of time trying to resolve any common issues, but this is still, you know, pretty much as it is, to be honest. There's nothing special with my install. I've been quite lucky, actually, in terms of the compatibility has mostly been okay. considering I've got a hell of a lot of content installed, I am very impressed, definitely. There we go, down to 20. As we cross over. And that's us now onto the Walton lines. So that area outside of Warrington that I showed you there, that was the Walton area. There's been a lot of development down here actually, so it's quite outdated now. If you go down to this whole Walton area now, it's absolutely full of housing. There's been a huge, massive housing development that's been built. So there's a lot of, there's actually been a new road that has been constructed as a result of that housing development that goes right next to the railway. So if anything, it's actually a plus point for you if you're like a train spotter, because you now get a nice close view, definitely. And there's a spot that I'll show you that I never even knew existed, that's actually on this line that we're going to go down here. I experienced it when I was trying to see a Class 37 that was going into Walton, the Walton Old Junction MSC sidings, which are these ones here, that have got these wagons in. In real life it's got Class 321 Renatas in it, and I was trying to go up to see that, but it was due to go via the station according to real-time trains, but it never did. So I had to race down in the car down to this area and found a spot on a bridge. Unfortunately the sun was setting on this side and the train was on this side and I was on this side, so it was a bit you're on the wrong side of the sun, so you can get very good pictures. But at the same time the sun set pretty much by the time the train had left, so after that it was darkness and there was no light, so I don't know what was worse, being on the wrong side of the sun or not actually having any light. So it's one of those where you can't really odds it. If you're going to see that working, you've got to see it prior to it getting to its destination. I think that's probably the general rule. So let's start to slow down here. We are meant to stop apparently. Meant to have a red. Not sure if we're going to have a red, but yeah, it's these sidings down here, Walton Old Junction MSC sidings. These have got Class 321 in. Also some 777s apparently of Merseyrail, although I'm not too sure if they're still there. And it used to have 68 sets, but I'm not too sure if they still exist. There we go, just slowing down to a stop here on the red. Right, see what it wants us to do. Yeah, interesting to have these wagons here. I think in real life it's just some abundant sidings now, really, and that's why they're using it to store those 777s and whatnot, in between having remedial work done. You have permission from the signaller to enter the yard. However, the signal will remain red due to signalling issues which have been reported. You have no need to tab, as the TPWS grid is also faulty. Don't forget to also stop ahead to allow the yard shunter to board. And yeah, that's routed us. Oh right, okay, we've got a bit of shunting to do as well. There you go. Never a dull day in the land of my scenarios. So just getting that yard shunt to know that we're on the way. I don't think we need much power because the load will help us push us down the hill, and then we'll need quite a lot of braking force to be able to stop at the right point. So just proceed ahead, not at any great speed. So I'll show you quickly, actually, while we're doing this, where that spot was. So this is the Walton Old Junction sort of yard area, and you've got the sidings here. So the 37 was dropping the 321 off in here, and then it pulled ahead. Obviously there's an exit signal here, so it had to wait for that, but it had to go south, so it had to kind of pull ahead to then go that way. So the spot is on this bridge here, as you can see. You've got some sort of steps that lead up to this area here, but as you can see, if you go at this time of day, which is kind of when it was, and it was 9 o'clock at night, so the sun was about over here, which is really annoying. You know, you get the sun in your way on your shots, so it'd be a bit annoying, you see. So, but no, the 37 came out and it went straight past here, and it went up to a signal just up here, which is this one here, because that's the nearest sort of positioning signal to go south. And then he got the authority from the signaller, and then proceeded and flew past here at about 35 miles an hour and went straight up towards Crewe. Which was lovely to see, to be honest. I've got the videos on my phone, so definitely worth seeing. They'll be up on my Trains in Real Life channel at some point, so do keep an eye out for that. I will have the link in the description below. That's all stuff, proper Trains in Real Life type stuff. So anyway, here we go. There we go. Still getting 40 frames per second, even with everything in the yard, so there's definitely been some improvements. And there we go, off into Arpley. And there is a gradient just as you go in of 1 in 100, so I'm going to put brake on so that we are going to counteract that 1 in 100 downward gradient. Otherwise, you're never going to stop in time. So, right. So it's this area here, right over here. There's full of houses now, massive housing development now. So, yeah, you can. Yeah, it's actually a road that runs parallel with the line down here. So yeah, if you come at the right time in the morning, and there's a train due out of Arpley, you can probably get some quite decent shots, to be honest. I'm not too sure of the accessibility front, but I just know that that line runs parallel with it now, with the road, so it's quite interesting. Lots of positive developments out of something that might not be too positive, you know. Over expensive housing has definitely got its perks of some kind, so. But here we go, here's the yard shunter, he's just over here. Hello, my friend. Got to wait for him to board in a sec. And right. I wonder what that is. That's a sort of football club type thing. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, we'll stop for you, mate. Don't worry. We're definitely going to stop for you. Hello, my friend. There we go. You may board. So I've got the yard shunter on board now. I've got someone to talk to, rather than driving this on my own all the time. So let's stop here. Get the yard shunter on board. And yard shunter. Hey up, pal. Signaller wants us in Arpley Sidings. 10 today. Get going whenever you're ready. That's really bad. I should never do that again. Sorry, I had to. I saw an opportunity and I took it. I think is the moral. Anyway, we're just getting under the way now. Don't want us to. Yeah, there we go. Should be okay. Oh, hello. 66175 Rail Riders Express. Hello, how are you doing? That's currently in this area at the moment, actually. I know it's. They say a DB cargo locomotive is attending the Rail Riders show in Crewe in June. I can have an imagine it's going to be 66175. I mean, what else is it going to be? That being said, this is the railway, so anything can happen. It depends on availability. But it has magically appeared over here after being based in Peterborough area for quite a while. So, yeah, whether that tells you your answer there or not, who knows. But I don't think the railway works in that sort of way. I think, if anything, it would be a weird coincidence. Anyway, here we go. So this is where I spent an hour just doing all of the AI. So if you have a look now, yeah, you've got JHA wagons here, you've got flats here, HHA wagons here. These are TDA wagons. The fantastic ones from Armstrong Powerhouse. They look superb. Oh my god, they look great. Yeah, you've got HHA wagons, JMA wagons even, ex-National Power. You've got some of these, which are the cargo wagons. You've even got a Class 90, 43210, definitely not 43210, but you've got another 90 as well, over here, 92018. Oh, and a shed. Oh, you've got 66101. You've got more 90s and sheds here, that's unusual. So yeah, you wouldn't really have any 90s based here now anymore, unfortunately, because as far as I'm aware, the juice is turned off at Arpley now, owing to an incident that occurred at Bescott a few years ago. Fortunately, I can only describe the individual as a yobbo. Decided to climb over the fence at Bescott and said it would be a good idea to play footsie with a train in the middle of the night in suburban Birmingham, and then got electrocuted by the wires. And the family decided to sue DP Cargo for I don't know, the fact that it was allowed to happen or something like that. Who knows? Who absolutely knows what's going through that family's mind when they decided to sue? But hey ho, it's what it is. That's just in Arpley Siding 10. Anyway, so the outcome of that is basically DB Cargo now don't want the reputation of a company that has that sort of issue, so they decided to turn all the wires off. It'd be much better. And anyway, they barely use the 90s in these yards anyway, to be honest. It was only Bescott very, very rarely has 90s. It used to have regular 90s, Bescott, especially the Bescott Crew workings. They used to have 90s, but they don't anymore. Yard Shunter, here we are. I'm just going to uncouple the wagons from the loco. Hold on, this is where you come in. Please uncouple the wagons from the loco. Radio. Okay. So where are we? Are we the red one? Yard Shunter, wagons uncoupled successfully. Hang around and let me board again. Radio. We'll do just that. Waiting. Oh yeah, you've got some more wagons over there. Some of the they look like the ones they use at Elston Redlow sidings down in Midland Main Line. Yard Shunter, choose power. We're due to shunt forward now to the reverse point, where I'll couple us up to 66103 to shunt us round to the fuel point. Rightio. Okay, 66103. I'm not seeing 66103 unless it's hovering about somewhere. Oh, there it is. I presume that's 66103, is it? Yeah, 103. Hello. And that's 60042. Ooh, very nice. A bit of variation now. Got 91 and 42. Rare to have more than 160 in Arpley at any one time these days, but oh, that looks like it's on the Stoke Marcroft working by the looks of it. Yeah, got some flats here as well. Some nice there, so we're just going to shunt round, and that's where the scenario will end at Arpley reversing point, after we've successfully done everything else. And there we go, successful scenario there. 60091 successfully parked up in Arpley. Yard Shunter, super cheers pal, time for you to clock off. Lucky you, take care. That's your juicy done for today. Thanks for your help, I hope you've enjoyed this scenario. And that takes us back to the main menu. So, we've come full circle. I hope you've had an informative experience of how the new updates are reflecting in the game and what that means for you as a player. So there's lots of different things, lots of different aspects going on in the game now, and lots of reasons to be very excited about the future for Train Sim Classic. So feel free to leave a like, comment or subscribe. Thank you very much for watching this video. I do appreciate every single time you watch a video. I will be back here on LM Simulation with some more content. Probably going to be back with Train Sim World 3, as I'm currently focusing on that sort of thing at the moment. But I will be looking to get a lot more content out for you as soon as I can. So just keep an eye on that in the meantime. But thank you very much for watching this video. You've been fantastic. And if you've got any questions, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer them in the comment section below. Have a wonderful rest of your day though. Do take care. All the best. And ta-ra!